Hello, everybody. I'm Relitza Vasilova at the CNN Center in Atlanta. This just into CNN. The first man to walk on the moon, astronaut Neil Armstrong, has died. On the 20th of July, 1969, Armstrong stepped off the lunar lander and onto the surface of the moon. That's when he delivered his now famous line, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Armstrong underwent a heart bypass surgery earlier this month, but there's no word on how he died. Neil Armstrong was 82 years old. And we just heard him say those words that were heard around the world, mesmerized the United States. Possibly 1 billion people at that time watched. And I'm joined now by Leroy Chow, a former NASA astronaut. He's joining us now via Skype from Houston, Texas. Very, very sad news. A huge loss for mankind, I would say.
Yes, very much so. Neil Armstrong inspired me to want to become an astronaut myself. I was 8 years old when Neil and Buzz were the first two humans to walk on another planetary body. So it's with great sadness that I hear this news. Truly an inspiration for an entire generation and beyond.
How did he get picked to be the commander of Apollo 11?
Well, as I understand it, back in the day, there was a big map, if you will, or a big list above Deke Slayton, the chief astronaut's office, and it had the different Apollo missions lined out and had the crews and the backup crews assigned, and it wasn't really certain yet which mission was going to actually go land on the moon. And so in a sense, it was chance. It was good luck that Apollo 11 ended up being the one that made the first attempt to land on the moon, because all the missions weren't that well defined yet, and it depended on how the previous missions would go as to what the next mission would try to accomplish. So history luck plays a lot in everyone's life, and in this case, it worked out for the Apollo 11 crew.
What impact did this mission have on the U.S. space program, on humankind's space exploration?
Right, I was going to say it's even goes beyond the U.S. program or even the space programs of the world, because I think it was such a significant event that human beings had actually stepped on the moon for the very first time. That had profound impact on the entire world in all areas, not just in space exploration, science and technology. I mean, I think it inspired all of us, especially us in America, the Americans, to walk a little taller and reach a little farther and try a little harder. And I think it inspired, but not just America. I think it inspired everyone around the world.
It was a very different time, at the time of those pictures. In the 60s, it was the Cold War, the space race with the former Soviet Union. A lot of money and effort and inspiration was put into this.
Oh, absolutely. The space race, of course, that was born out of trying to create intercontinental ballistic missiles, and then turned into the, kind of almost an icon race of who could technologically get to the moon first and actually land people on there and then bring them back safely. And, of course, the United States ended up winning that race. And, the rest, as they say, is history.
And later on in his life, he did not get into politics. He taught. He was on several business boards. What did he do with this fame that he achieved, with this, as you say, happenstance choice to be on the Apollo 11?
Right. I mean, he definitely did not seek the limelight. As you know, he gave very few interviews. And, I myself only got to meet him once, very briefly. He almost never came back to NASA for the astronaut reunions that we have. I remember when I was a new astronaut in 1990, I met some of the icons like Alan Shepard and some of the Apollo-era astronauts, but not Neil. But many years later, about 10 years after I joined, he came through. He came back to Houston for a physical examination, and then he went up to the astronaut office actually to meet the new astronauts, and I got to shake his hand very briefly in the hall. But he kind of, after he finished his NASA career, he went on to teach, as you said, to teach engineering, and he kind of stayed out of the limelight. And so, in a sense, it's unfortunate. There's a lot of history in what he was thinking, and his thought process that are kind of lost.